Word, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Man, it's a pleasure. I get a chance to sit down and talk to you. For the people that may not know who you are, as well as some, brief introduction I've had with you shortly. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Sure, man. My name's Edward Paige. Predominantly a TV producer.
Okay.
Started out years ago. Was one of the producers that helped run MTV News. Used to travel around with a lot of famous people. Then started my own business, my own company. Had a lot of success in that. Do some entrepreneurial stuff. I also teach Dharma, which is Buddhism.
Yeah.
Have a nonprofit that helps children up in Washington. So
everything. Okay, a little bit of everything.
A little bit of
but
everything.
It's all positive.
Oh, 100.
100%. I can feel the energy from you when we spoke earlier. I want to touch a little bit about the MTV doing the movie TV production. You spoke on internship. They don't have to intern anymore like people expect, just to jump right in the job.
Yeah, this is the thing. The internship thing makes me really sad that it's gone away. And it's gone away for a few reasons. Because I was an intern. And that used to be the sort of the heritage of a lot of places was that the village raises you up, and it's you were part of something, and when you finally start doing it professionally, getting paid, you know what you're doing. And then a couple things happened, and it has to do with this sort of inside liability. But basically, many years ago in New York, some interns who were free interns on some Miramax movies sued Miramax, and New York State ruled in their favor and said, well, they should have been paid. Right?
Yeah.
And so then after that, all internships had to be paid, and then you had to have insurance and all this other stuff. And so then, okay, wait, I have to pay you the same as I pay a professional who has experience, but I have to do it out of the goodness of my heart, and I'm getting somebody who's kind of underfoot and doesn't know what they're doing. So it kind of killed the internship world, because people, if you're going to pay, and I'm going to tell you, even as an employer myself, my company Blank Page, it's like, I just need someone who can do the job.
Everybody thinks, they edit videos, but until you sit down with like a person like yourself, you be like, oh, that's what the terminology is called. That is how it's supposed to be done. They just know the short-term version, right?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about how technology and where you're at right now from all your experience.
The thing is that the technology itself has changed content and the way we consume content. I'm guilty of it too, because I also think this, look, content is king or queen, however you wish, but like content should rule everything. But most of the professional studios and networks, they're making crap, right? And so you're wondering why you're losing an audience, and I'd rather scroll on my phone for something fresh and interesting that is short form, that I don't need to give a lot of time. Why do I need to sit 2 hours through your big budget thing when I already know the ending and it's like completely just spoon-fed to me, and it's just nonsense? So I do think the industry, they're crying and saying, it's just technology. It's interesting. Reality TV is always its own thing, where it's like, you're dealing with people, they're not professionals, they're not actors necessarily, right? But you're trying to tell a good story and trying to help them
grab that moment, correct?
100%. And he's like getting them comfortable with like saying stuff on camera and being comfortable. So, and being able to make the story make sense, because life is messy. It's not as clean as like a movie or TV. When you walk in, you're like, what are they talking about? What's happening right now? So my company's done quite a bit of that.
Yes. Just to be honest, a lot of people think, no, it's TV, then radio. Radio is at the bottom of it. Well, that's the facts. So, I
think it's all perception. As a Buddhist, I will tell you everything is perception.
Yeah,
it's
perception. I got you.
Perception. That's your take. I think is an incredible medium of storytelling.
Exactly. Once you figure out the art behind it, but somebody like a big boy who's making, got a contract for $30 million, that's a whole different story. That's not the bottom of it.
Yeah. And also knowing that this world is not obligated to give you
anything.
Right?
I agree.
So anything you have is already a blessing. If you're saying, I don't have, well, you're not looking at the gratitude of what you do have. It's like a popular thing in LA is like everyone talks about the traffic and everyone's so awful and all that. And it's like there are millions of cars on the road and a handful of people will drive aggressively, honk, and act a fool. But what about the millions who actually behaved right? You're not paying attention to the millions of people next to you who are going, okay, we're going to get there. But you're paying attention to the one person who cut you off and honked.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's the difference between like what they call appropriate attention and inappropriate attention.
I want to hear what's your aspects on what's going on with the world, the mental perspective of the world, how everything moves fast, how everybody wants to be the guy, how nobody wants to be work in the back studio room no more. Everybody wants to be the guy, and just where we're at in society. I know. I got time. Real quick. Let's get that out. Yeah, I got time. Let's go.
Okay, I think the thing is that pure mind, pure world.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to get on the top layer of this. Is that, you can't legislate peace. It has to come from within.
Yeah,
right. I can't tell you to be, non-racist. I can't tell you to be this or that. That has to come from within.
Yeah,
and I think that there's a lot going on in society. A lot of times people are like outsourcing the raising of their children to other people, and those people are just barely getting by and being paid. It's not a fault to those people, but it's like, first of all, we need to make sure we're raising our children properly in a household that is like involved in their day, but people are so busy, spread so thin, trying to make money. You know what I mean? It's not actually real, right? And so when you start to understand that you're the author of your experiences, right? And you start to take ownership of that. Because a lot of times, and this works on a very logical level of like, if you have a lot of pride, a lot of ego, in Buddhism, we call it self-cherishing. So if you have a lot of ego, you're not going to listen to somebody else's idea or their criticism. Okay, well, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but like you need to have a conversation about it. And I think also it's weird because it's a sense of insecurity where people like posture today, so they don't want to have a conversation because it takes much more strength to sit down with somebody you disagree with. But lovingly, we can be friends and disagree and just be like the same way, like if it was your spouse or a child, they can do something you don't like, but you're going to sit down with love and understand and be like, hey, let's talk about that.
We agree to disagree.
Yeah. But you know what? You can even agree to talk it out and find a common ground because I think everybody's living in this world of winner take all.
Okay. Well,
right?
I like
and
you.
So it's not,
I like you. Okay.
It's not about a winner take all. It's like, okay, what's the best solution? And if we sit here as friends and say, okay, you have this idea and you want to take care of this and I want to take care of this and these are my concerns, these are your concerns. If we lay them out on the table, we can chop it up and figure it out, right? It does not have to be the way it is where now it's like, I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the mentality that's like kind of destroying the world. Okay. So, and then but the thing is that it has to start with us in our day-to-day personal relationships. It starts with you and in your own family, your friends,
that's
your
that
place
message
of work.
Of pleasantry and accountability.
And having a pleasant mind. And for some reason in our culture now, we've become so focused on the bad and what we don't have that we don't look at what we do have and we don't look at the good.
All right. You can't get it nowhere else, but right here at the Agents of LA podcast. Where can people reach you at and get more information about you or just follow you? Because you seem like you just have that energy and that charisma where people just want to tag along with you as we do nowadays in the world.
Sure. On Instagram, I'm Edward J. Paige, Paige. I also sometimes teach Dharma at the Kadampas Meditation Center in Los Feliz, and those are pretty much where they can follow me.
Okay. Hey, we appreciate you for hanging out with us, Mr. TV extraordinaire, Buddhist, philosophy, philanthropist.